Respected ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something that often goes unnoticed. A woman with no friends. Society tells us that friendship is essential, that having a support system is a sign of a happy and fulfilled life. But what happens when a woman finds herself alone? Does that make her less valuable, less worthy, or less complete? Absolutely not. A woman with no friends is not necessarily lonely. She is simply navigating life in her own way. She may have chosen solitude for peace after being betrayed or disappointed, or perhaps life's demands, career, family, personal struggles have made it hard to maintain friendships. We must not judge her. Instead, we must understand that her journey is unique. Friendship is beautiful, but so is self-sufficiency. A woman without friends may have learned to rely on herself, to find strength from within rather than seeking validation from others. Truly so, even more so. She is not broken, she is powerful. She listens to her own voice, follows her own path, and embraces her individuality. But let us not ignore the challenges. Loneliness can creep in, and without a strong support system, life's burdens can feel heavier. This is why we must create a society where a woman without friends is not pitied or criticized, but accepted and supported in her own way. Sometimes she just needs a kind gesture, an open conversation, or a simple reminder that she is not alone in this world. To the woman with no friends, I say this: you are enough. You are strong. And if one day you choose to seek connection, there will always be people willing to walk beside you, but until then, walk proudly, because your journey is yours alone, and that in itself is powerful. From an early age, society conditions us to believe that friendships are an essential part of a fulfilling life. We grow up watching movies, reading books, and seeing advertisements that glorify friendships. Groups of people laughing together, supporting one another, and sharing their lives. The idea of having a best friend or a close-knit circle becomes ingrained in our minds, as for women, this expectation is even stronger. The world often portrays female friendships as an emotional necessity, a vital support system that every woman must have. There are countless books and shows that emphasize the importance of having girlfriends to lean on during difficult times, to share secrets with, to travel with, and to celebrate life's moments. A woman who is always surrounded by friends is seen as thriving, happy, and but what about the woman who doesn't fit into this narrative? What about the woman who, for one reason or another, finds herself without close friends? Unfortunately, she is often met with confusion, judgment, or even pity. People assume something must be wrong with her, that she is unfriendly, socially awkward, or difficult to get along with. Others believe she must be deeply lonely and unhappy, even when that is not the case. Society tends to associate solitude with sadness, as if being alone is an unfortunate situation rather than a valid way of living. Women without friends are often questioned about their social lives in ways that men might not be. If a man chooses to keep to himself, he is sometimes perceived as independent or focused. But when a woman does the same, she may be labeled as cold, unapproachable, or even weird. There is a silent expectation that women should always be connected, always nurturing relationships, and always engaging in social circles. This can lead to pressure to maintain friendships even when they are toxic, pressure to socialize even when they prefer solitude, and pressure to fit into a mold that may not align with who they truly are. Additionally, social media has amplified these expectations. Every day we see posts of people surrounded by friends, traveling together, going out for brunch, celebrating birthdays and sharing inside jokes. These images create the illusion that everyone is constantly engaged in deep and meaningful friendships. A woman who does not have that same experience may begin to feel as though she is an outsider, as though something is missing from her life simply because it does not look like what is portrayed online. The reality is that friendships, while valuable, are not the sole measure of a person's worth or happiness. Some women naturally prefer solitude. Others have been hurt in the past and have chosen to be selective about whom they allow into their lives. Some may struggle to form connections due to their lifestyle, responsibilities, or personal circumstances. And that should be okay. Society needs to recognize that a woman's worth is not defined by how many friends she has, but rather by who she is as an individual. Friendship can be a wonderful part of life, but it is not the only path to fulfillment. Instead of assuming that a woman with no friends is incomplete, we should start understanding that she may be living life exactly as she wants, on her own terms. There are countless reasons why a woman may not have friends, and yet people rarely take the time to consider these reasons before making assumptions. Society often equates a lack of friendships with a lack of desirability, social skills, or warmth. But the truth is far more complex. Many women who find themselves without close friends have walked long and difficult paths that have shaped their decisions and circumstances. One of the most common reasons a woman may not have friends is betrayal or disappointment. Friendship, like any relationship, requires trust. When that trust is broken, whether through dishonesty, backstabbing, or neglect, it leaves deep wounds. A woman who has experienced multiple betrayals may grow wary of letting people in. She may start to view friendships as sources of potential pain rather than comfort. After being hurt one too many times, she may decide that guarding her heart and maintaining distance is the safest option. This does not mean she is bitter or unwilling to connect. It simply means she has learned through experience to be careful with whom she invests her emotions. Another reason could be that life's responsibilities have made it difficult to maintain friendships. A woman who is juggling a demanding career, raising children, caring for elderly parents, or managing personal challenges may find that friendships become a secondary priority. Time is limited, and when life is overwhelming, socializing can feel like an added burden rather than an escape. Unlike in childhood or early adulthood, where friendships are easily formed through school and social activities, adulthood requires effort to maintain relationships. And when that effort is directed elsewhere, towards survival, self-improvement, or family, friendships can naturally fade. Sometimes a woman may not have friends simply because she has outgrown the people around her. As we mature, our values, interests, and perspectives evolve. A woman who once shared everything with her friends may realize over time that they no longer align with her aspirations or way of thinking. She may find that conversations that once felt fulfilling now feel empty or forced. Instead of clinging to relationships that no longer serve her, she may choose to walk alone, seeking a deeper sense of purpose and self-awareness rather than staying in friendships that drain her energy. There is also the reality that some women are naturally introverted and prefer solitude. Not everyone craves social interaction, and for some, solitude is not a lonely state. It is a peaceful one. A woman who enjoys her own company may feel no urgent need to seek out friendships. She might find fulfillment in books, hobbies, nature, or simply spending time in her own thoughts. The modern world often glorifies extroversion, making it seem like constant social engagement is necessary for a happy life. But for those who thrive in quiet, in self-reflection and in independence, a lack of friends is not a sign of something missing. It is a sign of contentment with oneself. Some women struggle to form friendships due to personality differences, social anxiety, or past trauma. A woman who has been ridiculed, excluded, or made to feel unworthy in the past may hesitate to put herself in social situations where she fears rejection. Childhood bullying, past toxic friendships, or a lifetime of feeling misunderstood can create barriers that make it difficult for her to trust others. It is not that she does not want friends, it is that she fears the vulnerability that comes with forming connections. The idea of opening up to someone only to be judged or discarded can be terrifying, leading her to retreat into solitude as a means of self-protection. Ultimately, every woman's journey is different. Some actively choose solitude, while others find themselves there by circumstance. Whatever the reason, it is important to acknowledge that a woman without friends is not automatically lost, bitter, or lacking something essential. Her solitude is a result of her experiences, her choices, and her needs, and those should be respected rather than questioned. In a world that values social connections, a woman without friends often faces stigma, misconceptions, and even judgment. Society tends to associate being alone with being lonely, assuming that anyone without a circle of friends must be miserable or socially inept. But solitude does not always mean sadness, and choosing to walk alone does not mean a person is broken. It is time to break the stigma surrounding women who do not have friends and recognize that their lives are just as valuable, meaningful, and fulfilling as those with large social circles. One of the biggest misconceptions is that a woman without friends is unlikable. Many assume that if she does not have close friendships, it must be because people do not enjoy her company. She may be labeled as rude, difficult, or antisocial without anyone taking the time to understand her circumstances. The truth is, there are many reasons why a woman may not have friends, and none of them have to do with her worth as a person. Some women are simply introverted and prefer solitude. Others may have had negative experiences in friendships and have chosen to protect their peace by keeping to themselves. Some have busy lives that do not allow for maintaining social ties. It is unfair to judge someone based on the presence or absence of friendships when we do not know their full story. Another damaging assumption is that a woman without friends is unhappy. Society equates friendship with joy, as if a person can only experience fulfillment through social interaction. While friendships can bring happiness, they are not the sole source of it. A woman can find joy in her work, her passions, her family, or simply in the freedom of not depending on others for validation. She may enjoy her own company, appreciate the peace that comes with solitude, and feel deeply content in her life without needing constant social engagement. Assuming that she is suffering just because she does not have close friends overlooks the possibility that she may have created a life that suits her perfectly. There is also the belief that a woman without friends is missing out on something essential. While friendships can be enriching, they are not a necessity for everyone. Some women feel more drained than uplifted by social interactions and would rather spend their time focusing on personal growth, creativity, or other fulfilling pursuits. Others may have experienced toxic friendships and have chosen to be selective about whom they allow into their lives. Just because someone does not have a group of friends does not mean they lack love, companionship, or meaningful connections. They may have close family members, a romantic partner, or even pets that bring them just as much joy and support as friendships would. One of the biggest challenges in breaking the stigma is how deeply ingrained societal expectations are. From childhood, girls are encouraged to build and maintain friendships, and those who struggle to do so may be made to feel as though something is wrong with them. As they grow older, the pressure only increases. Women are expected to have strong social bonds, attend gatherings, and have a network of support. When they do not, they are often met with pity or concern, as if their lives are somehow incomplete. But we must start normalizing the idea that different people have different social needs. Some women thrive in solitude. Some prefer one or two deep connections over a large circle of friends. Others go through phases where they prioritize other aspects of their lives over socializing. All of these are valid ways to live. Breaking the stigma means recognizing that a woman's value is not measured by how many friends she has. It means understanding that solitude is not a flaw and that being alone does not mean being lonely. It means giving women the space to choose their own paths, free from judgment, whether that path includes many friends, a few, or none at all. Instead of seeing a woman without friends as someone to be fixed, we should see her as someone who is simply living life on her own terms. One of the most overlooked strengths of a woman without friends is her ability to rely on herself. In a world where people are often encouraged to seek validation, support, and companionship from others, she is not necessarily alone because she may be alone because she has discovered a deep well of strength within herself, a strength that allows her to navigate life independently. Self-sufficiency is a powerful trait. It means that a woman can make decisions without seeking approval from others. She trusts her own instincts, relies on her own wisdom, and does not need constant reassurance to feel secure in her choices. While many people turn to friends for guidance, advice, or validation, a self-sufficient woman has learned to be her own guide. She listens to her inner voice and follows her own path, even if it differs from what society expects. This level of independence does not happen overnight. Often it is born from experiences, perhaps from past betrayals that taught her she could not always rely on others, or from circumstances that forced her to stand on her own 2 feet. A woman who has faced hardships alone, who has fought her own battles without the safety net of friends, develops resilience that many never have to cultivate. She has learned how to comfort herself in difficult times, how to motivate herself when she feels unmotivated, and how to be content with her own company. Self-sufficiency also means financial, emotional, and mental independence. A woman who is used to being alone often develops skills that allow her to take care of herself without depending on others. She learns how to manage her finances, solve her own problems, and find fulfillment without needing external validation. While friendships can be a source of encouragement, a self-sufficient woman does not rely on others to build her confidence. She builds it herself. This kind of independence can be intimidating to others. People may not understand how a woman can be happy and fulfilled without a group of friends to lean on. Some may even see her self-sufficiency as a form of coldness or arrogance, when in reality, it is a sign of inner strength. She is not avoiding people out of spite or isolation. She is simply comfortable navigating life on her own terms. However, self-sufficiency does not mean that a woman does not appreciate companionship. It simply means that she does not feel desperate for it. She does not force friendships that do not serve her, and she does not settle for toxic relationships just to avoid being alone. She values quality over quantity and would rather be alone than be surrounded by the wrong people. There is an undeniable freedom that comes with self-sufficiency. A woman who does not rely on friends for happiness is free to pursue her dreams. She can travel alone, build a career without worrying about fitting into social circles, and embrace new experiences without needing approval from others. She can make decisions that are truly her own without feeling the pressure to conform to what her peers expect. But perhaps the greatest strength of a self-sufficient woman is her ability to find peace within herself. Many people struggle with solitude, feeling restless or uncomfortable when they are alone. But a woman who has embraced self-sufficiency knows that being alone is not a weakness, it is a gift. She enjoys her own company, finds fulfillment in her own passions, and has built a life where she is enough for herself. Society often teaches women to seek connection, to always be surrounded by others, and to rely on friendships for emotional stability. But self-sufficiency challenges this idea. It proves that a woman can be whole on her own, that she does not need external validation to feel valuable. A self-sufficient woman is not incomplete because she lacks friends. She is complete because she has learned to stand strong with or without them. While solitude can be a source of strength, growth, and self-discovery, it also comes with its own set of challenges. A woman who has no friends may find herself facing difficulties that those with strong social circles do not experience. These challenges can be emotional, practical, and societal, making her journey more complex than it may seem from the outside. One of the most significant challenges of solitude is dealing with loneliness. Even the most independent and self-sufficient woman may at times feel the weight of isolation. There are moments when she might crave a conversation, a shared laugh, or simply the comfort of knowing that someone is there for her. Human beings are social creatures by nature, and while some thrive in solitude, the absence of deep emotional connections can sometimes lead to feelings of emptiness or longing. Unlike those with friends to call upon in times of distress, a woman without friends must often process her struggles alone. Another challenge is the lack of emotional support. Life is full of ups and downs, moments of success, heartbreak, failure, and triumph. People often rely on friends to share these experiences, to provide encouragement, and to offer a fresh perspective when needed. A woman without friends may find herself celebrating her victories alone and carrying her burdens without the comfort of a listening ear. While she may be strong enough to handle life on her own, there are times when having someone to talk to reassure her, or to simply say, "I understand," would make all the difference. Practical challenges also arise when a woman has no friends. In times of emergency, she may not have a support system to fall back on. Whether it's needing someone to pick her up from the airport, help her move, or simply be there in times of crisis. The absence of close friends can make life's unexpected events more difficult to manage. Many people take for granted the small but meaningful ways that friendships provide practical support in everyday life. Without that, she must rely entirely on herself or seek help from acquaintances, colleagues, or family members if they are available. Social situations can also be uncomfortable or even painful. Society places a high value on group activities, and a woman without friends may find herself excluded from events, gatherings, or traditions that are built around social connections. Attending weddings, birthdays, or other celebrations alone can feel isolating, especially when surrounded by people who are deeply connected to one another. Even something as simple as going to a restaurant, a concert, or a vacation can feel challenging when the world expects these experiences to be shared with others. The pressure to explain why she is alone, or the fear of being judged for not having a group to belong to, can make certain social settings overwhelming. Workplace dynamics can also be affected by a lack of friendships. Many careers involve networking, socializing, and forming connections with colleagues. A woman who prefers solitude may struggle with workplace relationships, finding it difficult to fit into office culture or navigate environments that thrive on collaboration and camaraderie. While she may be excellent at her job, she may find herself overlooked for opportunities simply because she is not part of the inner circle. In a world that often rewards those who are socially connected, professional growth can sometimes feel more challenging for those who prefer to keep to themselves. Another difficulty is the stigma attached to being alone. Women without friends often face judgment, assumptions, and pity from others. People may wonder what is wrong with her, assuming she must be unlikable, socially awkward, or incapable of maintaining relationships. This kind of stigma can be exhausting to deal with, as she constantly feels the need to justify her choices or explain her circumstances to those who do not understand. The fear of being misunderstood can lead her to withdraw even further, reinforcing the cycle of isolation. Additionally, personal growth can sometimes feel more challenging without the perspective of others. Friends often serve as mirrors, reflecting back different aspects of our personalities, challenging our viewpoints, and helping us grow in ways we might not achieve alone. A woman without close friends may find it harder to receive honest feedback, support in self-improvement, or opportunities to see herself through someone else's eyes. While self-reflection is powerful, having trusted people to provide encouragement and constructive criticism can sometimes be beneficial. Despite these challenges, a woman without friends continues to navigate her path, facing each difficulty with resilience and inner strength. The obstacles she encounters do not define her, they shape her, pushing her to grow, adapt, and find creative solutions to the problems she faces. And while solitude comes with its hardships, it also offers unique opportunities for self-discovery, independence, and a life lived on her own terms. A woman without friends is often seen through the lens of what she lacks, rather than what she gains. Society tends to believe that friendships are essential for happiness, support, and validation, but it often overlooks the unique strength and resilience that come from living independently. A woman who walks alone is not necessarily weak, broken, or missing something. She is often stronger than people realize. Her independence is not a burden, but a testament to her ability to navigate life on her own terms. One of the greatest strengths of an independent woman is her ability to trust herself. Without a group of friends constantly influencing her decisions, she learns to rely on her own instincts and wisdom. Many people turn to others for reassurance before making choices, afraid to step forward without the validation of a social circle. But a woman who is used to being on her own understands the value of self-trust. She knows that at the end of the day, she is responsible for her own happiness, and she does not need external approval to follow the path that feels right to her. Independence also cultivates resilience. A woman without friends has likely faced challenges that required her to develop emotional strength. Without a shoulder to cry on or a friend to lean on, she has become her own motivator, her own problem solver, and her own source of comfort. This resilience allows her to handle life's hardships with grace, knowing that she has already overcome so much on her own. Beyond resilience, independence fosters self-sufficiency in practical ways. Many people rely on friends for small but significant things. companionship when running errands, help with household tasks, or advice on daily matters. A woman without friends learns to do all of this on her own. She becomes resourceful, finding ways to accomplish things without depending on others. Whether it's fixing something in her home, making travel plans, or navigating life's uncertainties, she develops a deep sense of capability. This not only makes her more efficient, but also builds her confidence in her ability to handle whatever life throws at her. Another important aspect of independence is financial and emotional freedom. Many friendships, though valuable, also come with obligations, emotional labor, social commitment, and sometimes even financial expectations. A woman without friends is free from the pressure to conform to group activities, spend money on social outings, or invest emotional energy in maintaining relationships that may not serve her well. She can focus entirely on her own priorities, goals, and ambitions without being pulled in multiple directions by the expectations of others. Independence also allows a woman to cultivate a strong sense of self. Many people shape their identities based on their social circles, adopting the opinions, interests, and behaviors of those around them. But a woman who walks alone has the opportunity to develop her identity without outside influence. She explores her own interests, forms her own beliefs, and creates a life that is truly her own. She is not swayed by peer pressure or the need to fit into a certain mold. Instead, she builds a life that reflects her authentic self, free from the need to please others. Furthermore, a woman without friends often becomes more adaptable. Since she does not have a built-in support system to fall back on, she learns how to navigate different environments, meet new people when necessary, and adjust to changing circumstances. She understands that she cannot rely on anyone else to fix her problems or guide her path. So she develops the flexibility and problem-solving skills needed to thrive in any situation. Perhaps most importantly, independence gives a woman the ability to be at peace with herself. Many people fear being alone because they associate solitude with loneliness. But a truly independent woman finds comfort in her own company. She enjoys her solitude, finding fulfillment in hobbies, passions, and self-improvement. She does not seek distractions or external validation to feel complete. She is already whole within herself. While society may view friendships as essential to happiness, the truth is that independence can be just as fulfilling. A woman without friends is not lacking in strength, love, or purpose. She has simply chosen a different path, one that allows her to build a life based on her own terms. Her independence is not something to be pitied, but something to be admired, as it reflects a deep inner strength that many never have the opportunity to develop. A woman without friends embarks on a unique journey, one of deep self-discovery, unfiltered by outside influences. Without the constant presence of a social circle, she has the opportunity to truly understand herself in ways that many people never do. In a world where people often define themselves through their relationships with others, she walks a different path, one where she is the central figure in her own story, learning about her strengths, weaknesses, passions, and purpose without interference. One of the greatest aspects of self-discovery is learning to embrace solitude. Many people fear being alone, because they equate it with loneliness. They seek distractions, social gatherings, and external validation to avoid confronting their own thoughts and emotions. But a woman who has no close friends learns to sit with herself, to find comfort in her own presence, and to enjoy the quiet moments that solitude brings. Instead of feeling lost without companionship, she begins to see solitude as a space for growth, creativity, and self-reflection. Self-discovery also involves exploring personal interests without external influence. In social groups, people often adopt the preferences, opinions, and habits of those around them, sometimes without realizing it. A woman without friends has the freedom to explore what she truly enjoys, or without worrying about fitting into a particular group dynamic. She might dive into creative pursuits, intellectual endeavors, or unconventional hobbies simply because they bring her joy. Whether it's painting, writing, hiking, learning a new language, or traveling alone, she engages in these activities purely for herself rather than for social validation. Beyond hobbies, self-discovery also means understanding one's emotions on a deeper level. Friendships can sometimes serve as a distraction from internal struggles, offering external comfort rather than encouraging personal introspection. But when a woman is alone, she has no choice but to face her emotions head-on. She learns how to process her feelings, manage stress, and find her own ways of coping with life's difficulties. This emotional intelligence becomes one of her greatest strengths as she becomes deeply in tune with herself, understanding what brings her peace, what triggers her stress, and what truly fulfills her. Another key part of self-discovery is defining personal values and beliefs. Many people adopt the perspectives of their social circles, sometimes without questioning them. A woman who spends time alone, however, has the opportunity to critically examine her beliefs, morals, and philosophies without external pressure. She is not swayed by peer expectations or groupthink. She forms her own opinions through experience, reflection, and independent learning. This makes her a strong individual, capable of standing firm in her values without the need for approval from others. Self-discovery also involves redefining success and fulfillment. Society often pushes the idea that happiness comes from relationships, social status, and group belonging. But a woman without friends has the chance to question these ideas and redefine what success means to her. For some, success might mean deep friendships and social recognition. For her, it might mean personal achievements, creative expression, financial independence, or simply waking up each day with a sense of peace. She learns that fulfillment is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It is deeply personal and unique to each individual. Additionally, this journey allows her to build self-confidence in an authentic way. Many people derive confidence from external sources, their social status, the approval of friends, or the validation they receive from others. A woman who is alone does not have this constant external reinforcement, so she must develop confidence from within. She learns to appreciate herself for who she truly is, without needing anyone else to tell her she is worthy. This self-assurance is powerful, as it is built on a foundation of self-awareness rather than external affirmation. Perhaps the most beautiful part of self-discovery is the realization that she is enough on her own. Society often tells women that they need strong social bonds to be happy, but through her journey she comes to understand that she is whole exactly as she is. She does not need a circle of friends to define her worth, to complete her, or to give her life meaning. She has found that meaning within herself, through her passions, her growth, and her own unique experiences. Though the journey of self-discovery is not always easy, It is one of the most rewarding paths a person can take. It is a journey of learning, growing, and becoming deeply connected to oneself. And while others may seek validation from the outside world, a woman who walks this path finds something even more valuable: self-acceptance, inner peace, and the freedom to live life on her own terms. A woman without friends follows a path that is different from the norm, one that is often misunderstood by society. In a world that values social connections, friendships, and belonging to a group, she stands apart, not necessarily because she wants to, but because her journey has led her down a different road. While others may see her as isolated or missing out, she knows that she is simply living life on her own terms, embracing a path that is uniquely hers. One of the biggest challenges of walking a different path is dealing with societal expectations. From childhood, people are taught that having a strong social network is essential for happiness and success. Popular culture glorifies friendships, portraying them as the key to a fulfilling life. Society tends to measure a person's worth based on how many friends they have, how many social events they attend, or how well they fit into a group. For a woman without friends, this can create a sense of being different, as if she does not belong or is failing to meet a societal standard. However, she gradually learns that these expectations do not define her happiness. She is free to determine what fulfillment means for herself. Another aspect of embracing a unique path is learning to find joy in unconventional ways. Many people rely on friendships for entertainment, companionship, and emotional support. A woman without friends, however, discovers other ways to experience joy and connection. She may find happiness in nature, in art, in books, in solo adventures, or in deep introspection. She learns to appreciate moments of quiet beauty that others may overlook. Watching a sunset alone, enjoying a meal without distractions, or losing herself in creative pursuits. She realizes that happiness does not always come from social interactions. It can come from within. Living life without close friendships also allows her to cultivate a deeper connection with herself. Many people use friendships as a mirror, shaping their identity based on those around them. A woman who walks alone, however, has the opportunity to define herself without external influences. She does not need to conform to group dynamics or compromise her values to fit in. She can fully embrace who she is without worrying about meeting the expectations of others. This level of self-awareness is rare, as it comes from introspection rather than external validation. Another unique aspect of her journey is the way she navigates social interactions. While she may not have close friendships, that does not mean she is completely disconnected from others. She may form casual connections with colleagues, acquaintances, or strangers she meets along the way. These interactions, though brief, can be meaningful in their own way. Unlike those who depend on a tight-knit group for support, she learns to find warmth and kindness in fleeting moments. A shared smile with a stranger, a deep conversation with a co-worker, or a quiet understanding with someone she meets in passing. Independence also gives her the freedom to design her life exactly as she pleases. Friendships, while valuable, often come with commitments, compromises, and expectations. A woman without these ties has the rare opportunity to shape her life according to her own desires. She can move to a new city on a whim, change careers without worrying about leaving a social circle behind, or spend her weekends doing exactly what she loves without considering anyone else's preferences. This level of freedom allows her to build a life that is fully aligned with her personal goals and values. However, embracing a unique path also requires a great deal of courage. It takes strength to live differently, to choose a road that few others understand. There are moments when she may feel the pressure to conform, to force connections just to meet societal expectations. But over time, she realizes that her path, though unconventional, is just as valid as anyone else's. She learns to stand firm in her choices, to embrace the life she has built, and to find confidence in the fact that she is living authentically. Perhaps the most profound realization she comes to is that fulfillment is not a one-size-fits-all concept. Some people find happiness in friendships, in social gatherings, in shared experiences. Others find it in solitude, in personal growth, in quiet moments of reflection. There is no right or wrong way to live, only the path that feels true to each individual. A woman without friends learns to embrace her journey wholeheartedly, knowing that she is exactly where she is meant to be. A woman without friends is not incomplete, nor is she to be pitied. Her path may be different, but it is not less meaningful. She has learned to stand strong in solitude, to rely on herself in ways that many never have to, and to find joy in her own company. While friendships can be valuable, they are not the only source of happiness, fulfillment, or purpose. She is proof that a person can live a rich, meaningful life without conforming to societal expectations. Whether by choice or by circumstance, she has found a way to navigate the world on her own terms, embracing her independence, self-discovery, and personal growth. She may not have the laughter of a group surrounding her, but she has something just as powerful: inner peace, self-acceptance, and the freedom to walk her own path without apology. In the end, fulfillment is not about the number of people by one side, but about the depth of connection one has with oneself. And for this woman, that connection is enough.